Yes.
You had no money.
Yes.
So all night you think, oh, how am I going to pay my bills? What am I going to do? I've got no money. And then you wake up and you think, I'm okay. So therefore, the problem that has been plaguing you all through the night has just gone away.
Oh yeah.
Therefore, I feel better.
So what was your worst dream that you ever had?
A recurring dream from my youth, that
Mm-hmm.
is, I've had a dream that I used to dream often, night after night,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be this. I used to get around by bus, right?
Okay.
If I wanted to go from town to town, shopping or anything like that, I'd
Yeah.
go on the bus.
Yeah.
And the dream would be like this. I'd be on the bus and I'd be looking out the window. There were double-decker buses, so you could go upstairs and have a good look. Look.
Sounds
I'd
very well.
really enjoying it. Then I'd look down and I'd find out I hadn't got any shoes on.
Oh.
So I'd go home again. I'd get off the bus, go home, and catch the next bus once I'd got my shoes on. And then I'd be looking out the window and, oh, look at all that. Look down, no shoes on. And this would go on for hours.
When you wake up, you feel tired, right?
I suppose so, yeah. I can't, it's a long time ago. I mean, we're talking, if I was 20, 60 odd years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does that dream mean?
I suppose it's an insecurity, isn't it? Of some sort.
Yeah.
But most people don't want to know my dreams because they're so silly. You know, they're like, if I'm worried about something, my dreams involve water. Water.
Yeah.
So, so we live by the sea here, and I imagine being swept out in a small boat, or if I'm crossing a river, I fall off the wall. You know, the wall. You know, all the stepping stones, and the water, horrible, terrifying amount of water going between the stepping stones, and I fall off the stepping stones into the water. You see, so water is a theme of. I know I'm worrying about something if I'm dreaming of water, or anything with water.
And what was your best dream ever that you had?
Oh. Um, no, I can't say. I mean, I must have had pleasant dreams, but no recurring pleasant dreams. The bad ones recurring, the good ones, they were odd ones, but they could be on anything.
Can you remember one of them?
I can remember kind of travelling to the moon.
Oh, wow. When was that?
You know, it's like, you know, closing your eyes and imagine you're on a spaceship, and I kind of travelled to the moon.
Wow.
And I was very disappointed when my sister woke me up because it was dinner time. And I thought it would have been a great adventure of my life to see what
how
was,
it looks like.
Yeah. But yeah, I suppose that's quite interesting.
Oh yeah. When was that? Before
Or
America landed?
I mean, my memory goes right back. We're usually very active dreaming. I think about around the 20s.
Wow.
I think a lot going on in my life.
Oh yeah.
Very unstable. I was in and out of work. Didn't really know who I was. I don't mean people have to tell me your name's Roy and you live at 16 St Dominic's Road. No, I don't mean that. But I hadn't got a direction. I hadn't got a purpose in life. Often without a job. I hated work actually. There were rubbish jobs. Didn't like the people. Didn't like, and money was so tight. You know, I've lived through the days. Give you an idea. My first wage was £3
Wow. What?
when I was
In Birmingham or
15.
London?
Yeah, in Birmingham. My
Oh.
first wage was £3, but that's before deductions. I got £2 13 and threepence, and my
So,
mum
uh-huh.
asked for £2 keep money.
Oh.
She always liked her children growing up enough to go and get a job, because she then could ask for keep money. When you were at school, she asked for nothing, but as soon as you got a job, you had to pay your way. And out of my £3, £2 13 and threepence, then I gave my mum £2, got 13 and threepence left,
Wow.
and I started a technical course, and I needed to buy briefcase, pens, rulers, drawing instruments, and paper. No, you wouldn't have had a calculator in those days. You would have had a slide rule. Have you ever used a slide rule? Oh my God, dismal way of multiplication. Using logarithms to do the calculation. So those early days weren't good for me. And I would see that everyone else seemed to be doing better. I had friends who had a van, for instance. I mean, I hadn't even got a bicycle. I hadn't even got a bicycle. And friends were driving around in old vehicles. We used to call them old bangers. They were cheap cars that no one else wanted. The older folk had finished with them because they weren't reliable anymore, and the young people used to buy them up and get them on the road somehow.
Yeah.
I wasn't even amongst that. And then the style of clothes. I lived through a style of clothes, the rocks and modders. The
Wow.
rocks and modders. Now, the rocks really were like Hell's Angels, the bikers, the leather gear. Yeah, the bikers. Skull and crossbones, studs on their black jackets, and things like that. And then there was scooter people, Lambrettas, Italian Lambrettas, and and people used to go around in their suits and tie and shirts, all very smart.
Wow.
I missed all that. No money to buy a motorbike was an expensive way of going around. They were expensive to buy. The leather gear was expensive, shoes, and
so it was like a style.
Yeah, it was a cult in itself, and then the same with the rock mods, the modern people, the people who went around on the scooters, all very posh in their nice suits, and they looked like. Remember the Rolling Stones? Not the the Beatles. They had they all wore all the same suit, and they had hair. Yeah, they had different style anyway. They all had modern clothes anyway.
Wow.
So I've missed it all.
Wow.